If you're in direct sales, you've probably heard the expression, and I've mentioned it before, if you're out of bookings, you're out of business. I don't love that expression because there have been plenty of times in my business where I've been out of bookings. But we're going to talk about the concept of booking from the booking so that you don't run out of bookings. That is what we call it in my business, booking from the booking. It just basically means that for every party that you do or every in-person appointment, that you book a future appointment from that always, that you get really, really good at it so that you are never out of bookings. I'm Michelle Fox, founder of Boss Babes Online, and I've also been in direct sales for 24 years, working my business both in person and online. These concepts are primarily what I use when I'm in person, but truly they can be used virtually as well. So it's really important that you understand the philosophy and are so that you're able to apply it in other situations. Okay, and I'll try to break it down as we go along. But now stay with me till the end because I've got a really great freebie for you that if you don't have it yet, or if you have my previous version, you're going to want to get this one. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet to Boss Babes Online, make sure that you hit that subscription button because we've got lots of fun, exciting things happening, including a giveaway very, very soon. So, all right. The most important thing, okay, back it up. So I'm going to give you 8 main tips. All right. My 8 top tips for booking from the booking. My first one is you have to have the right mindset. And what I mean by that is that if you go in thinking that no one's going to want to book, that nobody ever books, that is projected to your audience. It really, really is. There's no getting around it. So you need to either talk to yourself to change your thinking, or you need to expose yourself to people that are really, really good at booking from the booking. And that might be looking on YouTube, looking at your national sales director, asking your director to point you, toward a mentor. But the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of people that are very good at it. And so we can't say nobody wants to book. It's just not true, and it doesn't serve us. So we have to get our head right. The second point sort of hinges from that, and that is that you need to really be excited about your hostess program. You need to know it inside and out, and you need to love it and believe in it. You need to believe that you are being generous, that the hostess really is getting rewarded. You need to believe that people are going to get excited about it and that it's enough to make someone want to book. So your hostess program is important. If you're using one because it's the one that everybody else uses and it's not working for you, find something else. There are so many, especially now with Pinterest. You can get on there and just put in the name of your company, hostess program, and you will just be astounded at all of the options. But find something that excites you so that when you talk about it, you are genuinely enthusiastic and you genuinely know that they are going to feel rewarded. Super, super important. The other one, okay, point number 3. And this is all, these 3 kind of all hinge on each other, okay? The third one is you want to set the expectation during your appointment, and that can be online or in person. You want to set the expectation, and that means this, that when you finally start seeing yourself as large and in charge, an expert in your field, a professional, and you project that, what you will find is that as you sort of announce, this is how we do things, this is how it's done, here's the process, people will follow you. So if you, right from the beginning and throughout your presentation, set that expectation that you are going to get together with them again, then that is already kind of in the back of their head, like, oh, okay, that's the next part. And you can be, some people are good at being really specific, like spelling out, like, okay, this is our first appointment. We're going to do XYZ, and you're entitled to a second complimentary appointment where we do ABC. And if you bring friends to join you, you can earn hostess credit. Or you can just be a little more vague if you want to keep your options open and just say something like, there's so much for me to show you. We're going to talk about lots of exciting stuff tonight, but I would love to get together with you again in the future. And we'll talk about that later because I can't wait to tell you about this other group of products. Like, oh gosh, I wish I could do it all tonight, but I just can't. We would be here too long. So just tuck that away so that we can, chat about that after the party. Something that kind of lets them know that there's more to it than what's happening right now. That is so important in so many ways because it's almost impossible. I would say it is impossible for you to showcase everything that your company has to offer in one appointment. And yet, most people think that if they go to a party, they've seen it all. Okay. And so you need to make it clear that this is just a sample of our amazing products. This is, these are the most important or the most popular, or this is where you want to start, but there's so much more. When I went online and started demoing other lines, so there's skincare, there's color, there's fragrance, there's body care. When I started talking about other lines online, customers that I'd had for 20 years were saying, I didn't know that you had that. I didn't know you had, foot lotion. I didn't know that you had fragrance or men's products or, whatever. And because you can't possibly show it all at once. So when you realize that and you come in like, I'm an expert, I'm in charge. This is how this is going to work. This is our first opportunity together. This is you talking to yourself. This is our first opportunity with these people. I'm going to, really romance this, but I need to get together with them again because there's so much more. There's so much more to talk about. And when you tap into that, because that is true, and I think it's true. When you are speaking from that like sense of sincerity and urgency, where you're just like, okay, I'm super excited that you loved what we tried tonight. And we're going to chat about, whether you want to get started right away or, whatever, however you word that. But, I've also got some other things on my mind that in particular, I really want to show you. Okay. And have that mindset, be thinking, she keeps mentioning, Bath and Body Works or whatever. I really want to show her the Bath and Body products, or I could see her really liking the fragrances or whatever. And kind of in the back of your mind, then you can kind of pitch it that way when you're talking to that person. Like, do you know that, I've actually got like a fragrance quiz that you and your friends can take, and then we can all, sample different fragrances. And it's so much fun. We have coffee beans so that we smell the coffee in between the fragrance so that it clears your senses, and it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so just the thing is that you are coaching them. Basically, you're coaching your audience that this is part one, and there's more to come. Okay. Uh, the fourth one is that I think it's always appropriate to thank your hostess shortly after you introduce yourself. And I think it's really smart to have a little gift for her that she gets regardless of whether anybody buys anything or not, because she is opening her home to you, or she did invite all of her friends online, for your party. Either way. And it's even smarter if whatever you're giving her is like a mini version of something else, or it's part of something else. So we have like a mini hand system. It's called Satin Hands. So I can give her that mini satin hands, and I can, as I'm giving it to her, I can say, I'll give these to all of my hostesses, which is planting a seed. People are thinking, oh, wow, that's cool. Or, you can purchase the full size set that, we're going to try it in a minute. Or you could say something like, I'm offering a limited time special where, okay, this is the hostess present. This is the full size where my hostesses during the month of blank can get this full size set for only $10. So keep that in mind, friends. So you're taking this opportunity to thank the hostess, to give her something, and then also to plant a seed, to plant that seed that you treat your hostesses well. Okay. They either might want to book because of the cute little thing that you gave the hostess, or they might want to book because that cute little thing also represents a bigger thing, or like maybe you give her a brush to use tonight and then you show the brush set and you say, my hostesses can get the brush set, blah, blah, blah. So just the idea is that throughout you're looking for opportunities to set the stage so that they are expecting you to ask them. Okay. Okay. I'll come back to that thought in a second. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Number 5. I like to have something intriguing. Either I will have the thing on the table that is like a hostess incentive. So, okay. So I have a hostess program. I give like a little gift to my hostess at the beginning, but then to get people to book from the booking, I might also have something else like if you book tonight, you can get this half price. You can get this for only $10 or something like that. And I don't usually let them walk out with it either. They get it at the next booking. So let's say they get like a half price brush set because they booked. I don't give them the half price brush set that night because they could very easily cancel. I say, I'm going to set this aside for you and, I'll bring it with me on, the day of your party. Okay. So that's something too. But I will either have that with a cute bow or in some kind of a cellophane bag or something, or I'll have a sign, like an acrylic sign that shows it saying, this is my hostess special. Or you could just say something like, would you like to get this free? Ask me about it. All right. And then that's something that when you sit down with them to write up their sales ticket, that they're like, so what was the thing about the free, whatever, what was the thing about the free satin hands, the free, brush set? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, my hostess program is you can either get this or if we have blah, 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 then you get a free brush set. Okay. So having something on the table that they're kind of like, they are looking at, not distracting, but tempting, where like the one thing that you're not supposed to touch, you can't help but want to touch it. They're like, I wonder what that is for, who's going to get that. Okay. So something like that. So that is also keeping it front of mind for them because they're intrigued. They're intrigued. What is that about? How do I get that? Okay. When my party is done, I have like a closing statement. I have like a closing at the table with the entire group, or I have a closing online with everybody that's listening and watching at the same time. And I go through whatever specials I might be offering. But I always talk to each person individually before they go. And so if it's online, you might want to set that up in advance, like just say, immediately after the live presentation, I will be messaging you or something like that. But here's the point. Whether they buy anything or not, it's super important that you make a one-on-one connection with them. You want to see if they have any questions, make sure they had a good time. If there was a funny vibe about anything, you want to clarify things. You just never know what can happen, with a bunch of people together. Get through all of that. Ask them if they would like to get started with anything today. Yes, no, either way, is fine. And then ask them, other things like, do you want to be on my mailing list? Would you like to join my Facebook group? Whatever. It's like you've got their attention right then. So utilize that. You take advantage of that. Use it to its full potential. But when you're all done figuring out if they want to make a purchase tonight or not, like fill out the ticket, get a total, get the payment, fill up their bag. That part is done. And then say, by the way, and then however you want to approach getting this person to book. So, for example, I'll give you a few different scenarios. So, she has purchased something, and I would say, so by the way, I can't help but notice how slamming your makeup was when you got here. I mean, it was really like I could learn from you. And so I'm guessing you're a makeup girl. And I do offer a complimentary service where you get to try, color, and we can actually talk about eye makeup application. It can be one-on-one, or you can bring a friend, or you can bring a few friends. But I just really think that you would benefit from that. I guess I selfishly just want you to try our eyeshadow because I think you're gonna fall in love with it. Okay. Or it could be something like, you know what? You're such a sparkler. I've had so much fun with you. Every time you talked, everybody listened. I mean, it was amazing. I think that you would make a fantastic hostess. And, I hate to sound selfish, but any chance that you'd be willing to, have people over just like this. And what we could do is then you can get, da 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 da, whatever your hostess credit is. Or it can be a little more, black and white, where you're like, okay, so today was your first complimentary appointment. Like I explained, we went through the skincare. Now you are entitled to a second appointment where I come to you instead of you having to go to somebody's house. I'll come to your house, and you can either get a foundation match, we can find a color look for you, or we can talk about body care and fragrance. It's your choice. But there's just so many products for you to experience that there's more than this. And so I want to make myself available to you so you can see, whatever you're most interested in. I'm most interested in foundation match. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's perfect. That is probably the biggest struggle for women when it comes to makeup, is getting the right foundation shade. So I would love to do that. Oh my gosh. I've already got ideas, and so we can just do this one-on-one, or if you want to bring a friend, or I don't, here's a thought. If you brought like 3 friends or more, then you could actually take advantage of that hostess sign, the sign that said that you get a free brush set if you book tonight. The way that works is, if you book tonight and it is held within the next 2 weeks, and we have at least 5 adults over 21 and they all make a purchase, then you get that brush set free. Whatever. Like you're calling the shots here. I'm just making stuff up, okay? But just the idea is that you've got their undivided attention for that brief period of time. So figure out how you want to ask them, and be smart about it. I mean, be not smart, be intuitive, clever, be willing to kind of go with the flow. Like some people, you can tell they're easy to talk to, and they're just kind of like, they're party girls. They love, you have a feeling that they would probably love being a hostess. Others are, a little more quiet and serious, and maybe you need to approach them like, this is part 2. Okay, but this is part 1 tonight, and then we've got part 2. So would you prefer to do that on a weekday or a weeknight? You know what I mean? So you're reading the room. You've got to learn how to read people and look for the most natural way to offer something. Okay. And yes, that means you got to be on your toes. It means you actually have to be paying attention to them, to how they interact, to what their personality is like, to what they seem interested in. That's our job. Okay. So, and it will make it easier for you to book than if it's just like a script that you say to every single person, because guess what? The ladies at the table can hear you say it every single stinking time. Okay. So mix it up a little bit. All right. And make it fresh, make it relevant to that person. All right. So even after the party, you still got some more opportunities. Okay. So what number am I on? 7, I think. So I always write a thank you note, actually old fashioned, handwritten thank you note when I have in-person parties, whether they bought or not, just thanking them for their time, saying that I enjoyed meeting them, whatever. If they did not book, then you could mention something and keep it fresh. Okay. So like if you talked about your hostess program when you chatted with her, then instead let's talk about maybe like your high hostess prize of the month or something, or talk about how next month you're going to have a different hostess program and wondered if she might be interested in that. You don't need to necessarily say the same thing every time, but yes, people do need to be exposed to your message several times before it really sinks in and they choose to take action on it. For me, though, I think it's more natural and it just makes more sense. And I'm trying more ways. If I talk a little different each time. The first time I talked to her about it, it was because, oh, this is our first appointment. Now a second appointment. Maybe that didn't work. So maybe now I'm talking about, the incredible hostess program that I have. That didn't work. So maybe now I'm going to say, you know what, there's a high hostess and, whatever you get, you know what I'm saying? It's like you just want to kind of romance different aspects of it until winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. And then even after that, when you follow up, and a lot of people drop the ball here, but it is very important that you follow up with brand new people. Your guests don't know you, didn't choose you. They were just there for the first time ever, meeting you, hearing about the product. If they are so gracious as to make a purchase, don't you feel that you owe them like a checkup call or a text or something where you say, hey, just wanted to check in with you, make sure you're happy with everything, that it was the right color, the right style, that you are happy with the quality, whatever your industry is. With us, we talk about 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months. You call in 2 days just to make sure that, they love it. 2 weeks to make sure that it's working, that they see a difference. Let's say it's skincare. And then 2 months to see if they need to reorder it. Honestly, I don't usually do it that close together. I feel like that's a little close in, but I do always follow up. Okay. I always follow up within the week to see if they're happy with their purchase. And then I do if it's skincare, I'll probably wait 3 or 4 months because our skincare lasts a long time. But that's kind of, irrelevant. My point is that when you are following up, that is another opportunity for you to bring up, a booking. And again, so if you feel like, okay, well, let's see, I've already talked about the second appointment. I've already talked about my hostess program. What else could I try? Get online again and look for clever ideas or theme parties. When I have a theme, usually people come out of the woodwork, margaritas and masks or lips and tips. When, think outside the box, just try to be fun, try to be creative, come up with a fresh way of packaging that same idea. The idea is the same. I want to book a party with you. But the way that you have expressed it is slightly different each time, to where somebody might be like, that does sound pretty cool. I'll tell you this. I don't really like hosting my own parties. Not for my business, but I mean for other people. You know what I'm saying? And so normally when I hear the hostess program or high hostess or any of that stuff, I'm just like, whatever. But I was at one party where the person doing the party said, this month, every year in the month of February, my company gives the most hostess credit. It is usually 2 to 3 times more than hostesses get any other time of the year. It is bar none the best time to book a party. So if you want to talk about that, my calendar's filling up fast, but I just want to put that out there, okay, so that you have a chance to get in on that. And that's what it took. I was like, what? A ton of free stuff, 3 times more free stuff than normal. And so, everybody's got the trigger, their own trigger point, the thing that is going to make them be like, tell me more. And here's another thought too. I have probably my best customers, and I've said this in other videos, my best customers are professional women who don't have a lot of time, and they just really they want me to make their life easier, but they also have a need for human connection because they work long hours, and when they're not working, they're taking care of their home and their kids. And so sometimes the thing that really makes somebody want to book is the fellowship of it all, the friendship of it all. And just listen for cues when, to know who to talk to in that vein. But for example, you might say something like, next month I'm doing theme parties and we're doing, PJs and whatever. I don't know. And it's going to be tons of fun. Everybody's going to wear their PJs. I only book from, between 7 and 9 because we want it to be nighttime. And I bring popcorn and, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you what, it's just so much fun. It reminds you of when you were a kid and spent the night at somebody's house. And it's just a hoot. And I just think that you'd really enjoy it. What do you think? So again, same idea, packaged differently, trying to meet the need, the desire, the want, the hurt sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like people are all coming from a different place. And sometimes they want a book because they can't afford to buy it on their own. Most people like free stuff. Some people are happy with the discount. Some people just love to hold parties. They just love the whole party aspect. And then others just need that friendship time, that quality time with other women. So there's so much that you can talk about. There's so many ways you can approach it. And when you layer it by mentioning all these different things and showing them different things, the hostess gift, the full size, there's a sign with it, or it's there with a big bow on it. They're seeing it. And then if you have a little packet that you send them off with, sometimes I'll do, what's that called? Swag bag. I'll do a swag bag for them to leave. So like if I'm doing skincare, I might have a swag bag with a couple of color samples and, something like that, and stick something in there about your current hostess program. I'll tell you another time I booked a party was in my bag of stuff. There was like this cute little booklet, and it was like a coupon. Each page was a different coupon, but you could only redeem it if you were the hostess of a party. And I just was like, oh, that's so cool. Look at all this stuff. And so I booked a party with her. So you will find your way of connecting with people. So here's another thought. This is in addition to the 8. Okay. There are people that are really, really good at doing parties and booking parties. And there's nothing wrong with doing exactly what they do. But if that doesn't work for you, why don't you be that person? Why don't you be the one that comes up with a great way to host a party and a great way to book people? Have the confidence, have the mindset that I also can figure this out. I also can come up with a really cool approach for booking that works consistently for me. And you might be so good at it that you don't even have to do all these different layers. It might be just like, you know what? When I talk about this during the party and then I talk about this when we're sitting down one-on-one, I book them every time. That happens. And why not you? Why not? Do you feel me? Like we look at these superstars and we're like, I want to be like her, but they were you at one point. What's holding you back from being the superstar that comes up with the perfect hostess program, the perfect, way of presenting that second opportunity? You have greatness within you. You have your own ideas, and it's okay to try them. And even if they don't work out, that's the beauty of life. We learn and we move on. Okay. And I also just want to mention that if something is working for you, okay, this really hear me, okay, because this happens way too much. Something's working for you. You've booked a few parties. They seem to be excited about your hostess program. You're in a groove. You go to a conference, and then the main speaker is presenting her way of doing a party and her hostess program, and it's different from what you're doing. And everybody in your world is really excited about it, and they're going to try it. Maybe if you have like a local training, the training is even going to be done that way. And so you feel like, okay, I need to do it like that. But you don't. Okay. Do what works for you. And when you do it over and over and over and get it, smooth, and when you're really confident and when you know it inside and out, you don't have to change. Okay. You don't have to keep going hither and yon. Those moments, like when someone speaks and says, hey, this is how I had success, that's great when you don't have a plan. when you are just kind of out to sea and you're like, somebody help me. I have nothing on my books. I don't know what to do. And you go to a conference and you hear a strategy and you're like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. That's great. But if you are already on the path to greatness, if you already have experienced success, you've got something established, don't you dare give up on that. Maybe you can take little pieces of what you heard and incorporate it into your presentation, but don't abandon what you've already put together. All right. You matter too. Your ideas matter. Your way of doing things matters. Okay. Okay, so I've got a really cool freebie, and like I said, you may think you already have it, but if you really, really need to get it and look at it to make sure, because I've updated it radically. Okay, and it's 100 easy ways to get new customers and sales. And what I love about it, if I do say so myself, is that I've got like a whole page for introverts. I've got a whole page of ideas for online, a whole page of ideas for more in person, a little more aggressive. So, all different ways to basically get bookings. If you can book from the booking, but there are other ways too. Okay. So I love that. I love that freebie. So make sure that you are grabbing that. So I am super stoked because I believe that you're going to take this and run with it. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. If you've got something you want to add or share or challenge, that's fine. I'm a big girl. I can do that too. I'm just super excited that you're here. And again, I want you to be part of my ongoing community so that we stay in touch. So subscribe to Boss Babes Online. And if you're not part of my community on Facebook, same name, Boss Babes Online. It's a private group on Facebook that you are, absolutely invited to join. And I want to see you there. Now, what's going to happen next is YouTube will recommend one of my videos for you to watch. And if you don't click on it right away, that disappears and you just get some random video that starts playing. But so look alive. All right. Pay attention to what is recommended because they're pretty good at it. And stick around and learn a little more, dig a little deeper. You know what? It's up to us to keep learning and growing. All right. So thank you so much for listening. Wasn't this fun? I just love chatting with you. And don't forget to comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And I will see you next time.